I'm very sure the person used Lizzie's tomato mix because that's the difference it makes. A lot of times we keep battling whose jollof rice is tastier, Senegalese, Nigerian, Ghanaian, and all of that. All you need is your Lizzie's tomato mix and your jollof will be the best. No matter where the country, you know. So please, if you haven't tried Lizzie's tomato mix, I need you to go out there, ask your vendor for Lizzie's tomato mix. And if you have a different tomato mix, well, it's time to push them to the corner. Yeah, because the boss is in town. And if you are watching me right now and you want to be part of the responsible brands that are sponsoring me, please do not hesitate to call us, ETV Ghana, or you just reach out to us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page, and then we would assist you, okay? So as the show goes, we always let you know what happens with African women, you know, across the world. And that comes up with 60 seconds update. I'll link you to that for you to get updated on what's going on with African women. Do not go away.
Professor Nanaba Appiah has been appointed to act as Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana. The appointment takes off from August 1st, 2021 for the 49-year-old. Until her appointment, she was the Pro-Vice Chancellor in charge of academic and student affairs and also a Professor of Linguistics at the University of Ghana. Should she be confirmed, she would be the youngest and first female Vice Chancellor in the history of the Premier University. According to the statement from the school's registrar, she will be in an acting position following the expiration of the current Vice Chancellor and also will be in that role until such a time the University Council appoints a substantive Vice Chancellor. In commemorating the one-year anniversary of the passing of Dr. Doris Yaa Dartey, 2 books were launched today, Wednesday 28th of July 2021 at the Ghana International Press Center. The Watchwoman, a compilation of columns, and When Breast Cancer Strikes are the titles of the books. It is expected that the books will help young budding journalists to excel in their fields of endeavor as well as inspire both current and future columnists. Dr. Doris Yaa Dartey passed away at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital on Sunday, July 19, 2020, after 6 years struggle with metastatic breast cancer. In personal encounters, Dr. Doris Yaa Dartey came across as an extraordinary sharp person who spoke her mind, but who also made people feel comfortable. The book launch was held at 3 p.m. today. The National Film Authority held its first major stakeholders engagement forum with film practitioners on Wednesday, July 21st at the Silverbird Cinema at the Accra Mall. The program was to update the film sector on the NFA's activities so far and to discuss matters of interest to the sector. Addressing the meeting, Juliet Yaa Santua Asante, the Executive Secretary of the National Film Authority, said the main strategy of the authority is to help Ghanaian films get international exposure. She noted that our main strategy for the next 2 years is to make Ghana an attractive shooting destination on the continent for foreign productions while raising the level of local productions to meet international standards.
And you're welcome back to the ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show, and we are very ready to kick up with our conversation. So for those of you who already have seen the guest on our social media pages, you get the chance to get to see her live. And those who couldn't see it, well, it's still not too late to get to meet her. So ladies and gentlemen, join me as we make welcome Leah Ndwati. Please, is that how to pronounce it? Did I say it well?
You got it correctly.
Hey!
Yes. Well done.
Thank you so much. Kenyans, today we have a Kenyan in the house. So I need you all to be sending in your comments. We really need you to participate in the conversation, okay? And today we're going to be discussing catalyzing SMEs, you know, and it's a very serious conversation for us because we've been running some series around businesses and starting a business and how to grow it is what we want to consider now, because if you started a business, so what would you do to grow the business? Yeah. So that's why we have you here. So now that I've introduced my guest, to set the tone for our conversation, I came across a footage which I think is going to help us, you know, have this conversation. It's a very short one. Once we're done with it, we'll come back to Leah, okay? So please, let's play this footage on owning your own business.
If you really love your children, get a business, not a job. Because when you die, your children
FAO Cares for You, we've designed a new care policy to better serve you. 1. We commit to 100% availability on an extensive list of spare parts. 2. Being closer to you through our wider service network. 3. To respect the deadlines communicated to you. 4. To repair your vehicle or equipment on the same day for select.
Do you want to be a consummate media professional? Did you know that at E-Academy, our highly qualified and accomplished lecturers take students through the practical aspect of broadcasting? Do you want to be a newscaster or a radio presenter? We put you in front of the camera or behind the console. Are you interested in a career in public relations, digital marketing or event management? Yes, our courses are practical oriented. We also make sure our students are taken through all the subject areas, including radio and TV presenting, news reporting, blogging, PR and marketing, event management, camera handling, visual editing, TV content production, and others. So many of our students have enjoyed and experienced the unique learning here at E-Academy.
My name is Abigail Apia, host of Shopping on E on ETV Ghana. I joined the 2019 class of E-Academy for the 12-week intensive professional course. And here I am today hosting a live show on TV. If media is your passion, then you know what to do. Register with E-Academy at Happy FM in Asylum Down.
I know you may all have had the urge to do one thing or the other on many occasions, but could never find the opportunity to do so. I also felt the same way until I joined the ETV Academy of Media Studies in 2018. With an interest in public relations, I received quality tuition and practical experience from seasoned professionals. After tuition, one also gets the chance to intern with and understudy the best in the media, events and PR industry. And I recommend E-Academy of Media Studies to you. Enroll now and experience the change. My name is Joel Sanko, and I recommend E-Academy of Media Studies to you.
What are you waiting for? Registration is ongoing for the next session. Call or send us a WhatsApp message on 020-2222-092 or visit our Facebook page, ETV Ghana E-Academy of Media Studies. You can also walk into Happy FM in Asylum Down for more enquiries. E-Academy, training the next generation of broadcasters.
It was amazing having you on season 1 of Can You Karaoke. Well, this is where it gets bigger and better.
Coupe, Azonto, Zanku, Legwork, Amanda, Cafe.
Mama want me. My papa want me. Sister want me.
Watch out for season 2 of Can You Karaoke.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had.
Go. Brand new Lamborghini, fuck a cop car. With a pistol on my.
I wish it could be me, but I won't make it off this bed. I hope I go to.
From near and far, a request me banana. Me a the girl them.
Have you guys ever wondered what the hottest songs in the world are? Have you wondered what everybody's listening to that you haven't heard yet? Well, on ETV Ghana, we're going to be bringing you a special show we like to call the Hot 20 Countdown. We're going to be counting down 20 of the hottest songs in the world right here on ETV Ghana. If it's hot, we got it. If it's not, I don't know where you can find it, but right here on the Hot 20 Countdown, we got everything you need to know about the best music that everybody loves and that you can add to your playlist. Catch me, your host, Winston Michaels, every single Saturday at 3:30 p.m. right here on ETV, your world of entertainment.
And we sincerely apologize for that breaking transmission. It was due to some technical difficulties that was beyond our control. However, Our technicians have been able to put everything back in place, so we continue our conversation. Remember, before the interruption came up, I mentioned that I saw a footage that I felt was going to set the tone for our conversation. So I'm going to link you to that footage so that we follow our conversation through from it. Let's link to it now.
Bitter truth. If you really love your children, get a business, not a job. Because when you die, your children cannot inherit your job, but they can definitely inherit your business. In fact, if you die at a job, your boss will replace you before even your burial. If your family lives in a company house, they will be kicked out before they can say anything. So when you close from work today, don't go and watch television. Go home and think of a business idea.
Thank you very much. So when you get home, some of you are home already, just think of a business idea. Because if you say, oh, I have a job, a good paying one, if you leave tonight, you'll be replaced even before your burial, according to what he said. And that is the reality of life. But if you have a business that you do, you have something that you leave behind for your children and your loved ones and so many people even after you. So that is why we have Leah here, who's going to help us to understand what it means to catalyze businesses, for growth. We always hear about SMEs. She's going to let us know what SMEs actually mean and what roles they play in a country and even across a continent and the world. All right. So Leah, you're welcome once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. So we would like to have our client, let's say our audience, to understand a bit about, SMEs. Let's start it from the scratch so people understand. We know SMEs, okay, small and medium scale enterprises.
Yes.
What is this SMEs?
So, like you said, small and medium enterprises, possibly 2 to 3 years old in business. We have different categories. For example, in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, we have what we call startups. So startups, maybe you just have an idea, you're just starting out, maybe you're 6 months into it, less than a year into it. And then once we go further a bit, then you become like a growth stage company or a growth stage SME. So all of these are SMEs, but at different stages. So you could be at growth stage, you could be at startup stage. And what we are basically talking about is companies that are not yet at corporate level. For example, they are not your Vodafones, they are not your MTNs, but they're still doing business. It could be husband and wife business and they've employed maybe 3 to 4 people. It could be 2 people, but at least it's a registered business and it's a legal entity. So that's what we refer to when we call them SMEs. We also have a term that we say micro SMEs. So these are the very small businesses, like maybe somebody running a mobile money shop or somebody running a vegetable shop or a chop bar. That could be a micro SME.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nice. So now that we have an understanding of what SME is, let's let our audience know who exactly is speaking to them. From the description we gave to them, we said that you're into catalyzing businesses, GrowthAfrica, Kenya, Ghana Expo, we said that, but we would like you to really tell us presently what exactly you're doing.
Okay. All right. So my name is Leah Nduati. I have been in Ghana for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So have you learned to speak any of your languages?
I'm learning.
You're learning.
Yes. Kakra, kakra.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yes, yes.
And what about our food?
I love the food.
You love the food?
Yeah, in fact, when I first came, I added like 10 kgs just from eating the jollof, the fried plantain.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's really amazing. And I was just speaking today at some conference, and I was telling them that in Ghana or in West Africa, we feel more African. Like as a Kenyan, I feel more African here because, the traditions are there, the customs are still there, the dressing is still there. So this is home for me. So as much as we say that
we're from different countries, it's still home.
It's still home, yeah. Ultimately, we're Africans.
Nice.
Yes,
so tell us what exactly what you're doing.
Okay, so I started off with the Kenya Trade Expo in Ghana, and that was to promote business between Kenya and Ghana. So what would happen is I would go home and then people would ask me, what can we do for business? And the same thing here, we meet Ghanaians and they tell you what's happening in Ghana, what can we do in Kenya? So we decided that, okay, the first thing, we're going to create awareness through the expo and get the businesses to see what opportunities exist. Because
Awesome.
you would see that most of them, maybe they want to do business with the UK, they want to export outside Africa. Some of them don't know that maybe some of the products they're buying from Europe can be found in Africa.
Okay.
So that's what birthed the Kenya Trade Expo. But along the way, we also realized that most of the businesses that want to expand into new markets are not ready for that expansion.
Yes.
They are not, they want to expand, but internally they are not structured well for expansion, they're not structured well for investment. And that's where now GrowthAfrica comes in.
Okay.
So GrowthAfrica is an SME support organization. We call ourselves an entrepreneurship support organization. And we work with the growth-oriented companies. So these are companies that are past 2 years. They are registered, they are making about $50,000 per annum. So they've reached to the point where money is flowing into the business.
Okay.
But then they also find themselves at a point where money has come, but where has the money gone? Do you understand? Yes. So there's some things that, or nuances within the business that they need to work on before they can actually realize the growth. And that's what we do. We catalyze growth for growth stage companies or growth-oriented companies. And so my role is to be a growth catalyst for growth-oriented SMEs. Yes.
Okay, so the little science I know about catalysts, I mean, they cause some kind of reaction.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that's what it is that you're doing for businesses.
Yes. So we cause a reaction, a positive reaction.
A positive reaction.
Yes. So we are headquartered as GrowthAfrica in Nairobi, Kenya, but we also operate in Ethiopia, in Uganda, in Zambia, in Ghana, and also in Malawi.
Wow.
So we run a very intensive program for the entrepreneurs, and what we do is we spur them to think through their business, to understand what are the nuances. So in terms of your financial architecture, is it well structured? In terms of how you're creating value for your businesses, what are the processes in terms of your people? How are you managing your people? Just to look at every aspect of the business and make sure that you understand it, you understand the nuances or the challenges. So sometimes you have challenges, sometimes you have nuances, something that you can't really overcome, but you can work around. So that's now what we help them to see, and then what we help them to work around.
Okay, so you've been talking about nuances, and I'd like to ask, what have you noticed, you know, as you did this business all this time? What have you noticed among entrepreneurs or maybe people in SME that is affecting business owners? What have you noticed? What are these nuances that you've noticed?
Okay, so there are two things. There are external factors, and then there are internal factors. So external factors could be things like government policy, definitely the tax regimes. With COVID coming and 2020 supporting the businesses, most of them were complaining about the tax regime has not changed, policies have not changed to assist SMEs. So these are the external factors that happen, including COVID-19 itself is an external factor. And then there are internal factors. Internal factors include not having your business structured well, not having your processes in place properly, you know, just doing business as you go. Yeah, and that lack of structure, the lack of governance, the lack of ethics sometimes, those are the internal nuances that sometimes affect the business. So, you know, even as a human being, there are external factors that affect your life and internal factors. External factors, there's little you can do, especially as an SME. You don't have that financial muscle, you don't have that people muscle to change things, but you have the muscle to change your internal structures so that you are able to at least raise more money in terms of investments, or even raise more money in terms of revenues coming in from your business. So it could be something as simple as streamlining your cash flow processes, or streamlining your processes in terms of production. And you see that you're able to save money, or you're able to make more money.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So talking about streamlining, sometimes it's not very easy for people to streamline, because you want to streamline and then you find out that you're not producing the quality that you want to be able to produce. So what do we do when it comes to that kind of streamlining then? Because yes, we want to be able to streamline and see how we can make more money.
Yes.
But it could affect our quality as well, or?
Sometimes it could affect the quality. So that also comes in at looking at your industry, looking at your competitive landscape, and seeing what are your competitors offering. Sometimes you might want to give the best quality, but maybe the customer is okay with just enough. A
little bit lower.
Just enough, yeah. So we call that the underlying need. So sometimes you are looking at the underlying need of the customer, and maybe all I need is just a nice dress that fits me. but then you are trying to now make the dress add, you know, fancy things and extra and extra. So that adds to your operational cost, that adds to your cost in terms of people, in terms of materials. And if it was just a nice dress, the person would still have bought it. You'd still have made your revenues. So this is now what we talk about when you're saying streamlining. And it's not only in terms of production, it could also be in terms of people. So by the time you analyze your organizational structure, you might find that you have some people doing redundant work. So you are paying extra for nothing, or you have very talented staff that you're not using. So you're also not maximizing on their capacity. And maybe if you maximize on their capacity, you're also able to increase your revenues. So it involves different aspects.
Okay, quite revealing. So could we take a look at what is hindering SME growth in Ghana, or would I say across Africa? What are some of the hindrances that a lot of them are experiencing? We know funding is one of the hindrances. Whenever you talk about these things, funding is number one. So aside funding, what other hindrances are we talking about here?
So when you talk about funding, we are saying access to capital. A lot of financial institutions have not structured some good products for SMEs. However, we are seeing a lot of digital lending now, so there's still opportunity. So everywhere there's a hindrance, there's always an opportunity. So there's a lot of digital lending happening, so that's an opportunity. Another hindrance, I would say, is the companies themselves, the businesses themselves.
Just before we go to the digital lending,
yes,
are there portals people could go to be able to access this digital lending? Because sometimes people have started businesses, but they have absolutely no idea that they should go to certain places to be able to get access to capital.
Okay, so right now there's a lot on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, that you could go, including people like Fido that are doing the digital lending.
Okay, so if you did, for just any regular person, you just type in
digital lenders, yes. Digital lenders, yes.
Digital lenders, and then they will pop up, and then you see which one works for you.
Which one works for you, and then they would also do some due diligence, and that's also where a hindrance comes in. Because when the lenders try to do the due diligence, they might find that your paperwork is not correct. Sometimes with the businesses I've worked with, we are trying to catalyze, we'll see that the founder does not take charge of the finances or the accounts. So you'll find that most of the founders are creative brains. They are not finance people, they are not the rigid people, so they prefer to avoid that topic or just outsource it to somebody. But there are simple tools that they can use so that they're able to see at least the top line items of their finances, so that you always have to keep an eye on your finances. So we find that they're not doing financial recording properly, they're not doing their books properly. So by the time even the lenders want to ask for your documentation, they find that your books are not audited or your management accounts are not adding up. And so then they're not having confidence in the business to be able to lend to you. So these are some of the things that we are finding as hindrances. Yes, then we also have another angle, which is the gender angle.
Okay.
So there's a lot of funding coming through, let's say, to businesses, and this is a conversation across the entrepreneurship support ecosystem, that most of the funding is going to the male-led businesses more than the female-led businesses. So
let's say it louder, you know. It's been noticed, it's been observed that most of the time funding goes to our male, you know, counterparts. So please, people should bring some of them to us, the women. You know, we need it. We need it to contribute to national development.
Yes. So that is a hindrance, and a lot of the financing institutions or the funders need to apply a gender lens when they are choosing who to finance or when they are choosing who to fund, because women make up like 50% of the business owners across Africa in the ecosystem, and there are other nuances, like personal nuances, that affect how a woman will do business compared to a man.
Yeah, sometimes the nuance there is that they feel that women are so emotional, they will not take risks, and all of that. So that means they can't make more money. So why would you want to invest in somebody who is so emotional? No, let's go to the people who are the, you know, the able-bodied guys.
And even something as simple as, what if she gets pregnant and then she has children? Will she be able to concentrate on the business? But at the same time, if you observe the businesses that are supported, most of them that succeed are actually women-led businesses. So it's something to also look at, and even when you're giving access to the women, you have to look at how to create that equality in terms of access, create that equality in terms of even how you treat the women.
Okay.
So for example, for us, when we run the program, we might also want to consider if a woman is not able to come, maybe she just had a baby, is there another way we can still involve her in the program or include her in the program, taking into consideration her situation?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going for a quick commercial break. When we return, we're going to be finding out from her what Growth Africa is doing. What kind of interventions are they putting up to help SMEs here in Ghana or even across Africa? So do not go away right after this.
Because EFAO cares for you, we've designed a new care policy to better serve you. 1. We commit to 100% availability on an extensive list of spare parts. 2. Being closer to you through our wider service network. 3. To respect the deadlines communicated to you. 4. To repair your vehicle or equipment on the same day for selected jobs. 5. To be reachable at any time. Call us on 0900 900 007 to find out more about our new care policy. CFAO, your car, we care.
Get digi with it. Star 924 hash. Get digi with it. Star 924 hash. On your mark, ready, set, let's go. CBG Mobile, USSD, Young Co. Star 924 hash. Vanco the go. Smartphone no, young phone no. Ever fire money transfer. For 3 hour water bill. For 3 hour light bill. Fato credit. Star 924 hash. You deserve it. Let's go. Get digi with it. Star 924 hash. Get digi with it. Star 924 hash.
CBG is empowering you to get digi with CBG Mobile. Simply dial star 924 hash and get digi with it. CBG, we stand with you.
Charlie, so you don't give me a Akwaba.
My guy, there's no Akwaba without Katwaba.
It's best served when it's chilled. Guys, I love Katwaba. Ask my babe.
Drink responsibly. Not for sales to persons under 18 years of age. Not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, where is my new journey?
Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
And you are welcome back to the show. Before we went on the break, I said I was going to ask to let us know what kind of interventions her team is engineering to help or to support SMEs, in Africa. And I'd like to read some comments from our viewers before time runs out. I'll just take a few of them. And the first one is from Ajuba Amwakweku. She says, your guest is lively and is really communicating. I love this program, very educating and informative, and it keeps getting better and better. Thank you so much. I also see a message from Eliza Sampson. She says, I love this. I live in the UK and I will use your advice to start my own business. This is what we want. We need people to begin to think of business ideas and then starting up immediately. So we continue with our conversation. Leah, let us know the interventions that you've been engineering to help business growth across Africa.
Oh, thanks. So first we do connectivity.
Okay.
So we run our program, I mentioned, in the 6 African countries. And because of COVID in 2020, we had to run the program online. Okay. So this meant that we had entrepreneurs from Kenya, from Uganda, from Ethiopia, from Zambia, and from Ghana, all interacting together, all sharing, giving each other feedback and learning from each other, as well as connecting so that there's business opportunities. And then the second thing we do is we have a strengthening and empowering program, which is our flagship accelerator program. It's called the GrowthAfrica Accelerator.
Oh.
Yes, and so through the accelerator, we take the businesses through a very intensive program where the entrepreneurs have to look at their business and see, okay, how is my business model structured at this moment? How is my financial model? What value process do I have? How am I creating value for my customer? Who is my customer? All the way to what does my customer like?
Not to cut you, I think I came across those pictures.
Yes.
You know, while we're researching you. Could you put up the pictures so that we see that they're actually putting the words into practice when they say they organize entrepreneurship? Good.
Yes, yes. So
that's it. So you were looking into their books right here?
No. So we're taking them through our framework.
Okay.
So these are frameworks that we use when we are looking at the different aspects of the business. So for example, here we were looking at the customers. And so we have to go down all the way to thinking through how does the customer think before they even decide to buy. For example, I heard you mentioning Chana Foods, Chana Shito.
Chana Shito.
So how does the customer think from the point where they realize, wait a minute, I think I need to buy Shito. By the time they think they need to buy Shito, to the point where they're going to buy Shito and actually maybe choose Chana. What have they been thinking through? And so through going through that process, then you now come up with interventions and say, okay, at this point, they will go to the internet and start searching for Shitos in Ghana. So how do I make sure that they will see Chana first?
Okay.
Or at this point, they will go to this supermarket. So how do I make sure that Chana is first in their thought process? So that's what we do. We take them through the accelerator program. And like I said, we catalyze. So we don't go through their books. We don't go through the program for them. They go through the program with our guidance and with our support. So it's also very important for the entrepreneur to be very committed to the program. What we realized is we don't work with businesses that are too young. So these are people who are already in business 2 to 3 years. They already have a team in place. They're already making revenues. But what happens is they get caught up in the day-to-day. So they find themselves in an operational state of mind instead of the strategic state of mind. So our work is now to pull that entrepreneur out of their day-to-day rat race and now bring them to thinking through now how the business is running, how do we see it in the next 5 years.
Okay.
So by the time we finish the program, then they have a growth plan, a very clear growth plan of how they're now going to take the business step by step in the next 5 years. And that also enables them to have conversations with investors, which we also do connect them to investors. We're also creating an internal fund where we are able to fund some of them when they go through the program, and then they have a clear strategy for growth, and also it looks investable to us. So we are also able to invest in them.
So when, I just want to get this, when you're organizing the program, how do people know this is you, this is your program? What do they need to see? What do you say to them? How do they know that you're having the program that is going to help, you know, or that is going to catalyze their business? What is the theme or the title of this program, so they look out for it?
So we communicate through the network. A lot of business networks, we send our message to them.
Okay.
We also have our website, www.growthafrica.com, so they could go there and apply. In fact, right now applications are open, so if they would like, they will go there, they apply. We have a 3-step process. You do an online application, then we interview you just to find out the face behind the business and just to get a feel of the entrepreneur.
Okay.
After the interviews, then we do a diligence process where we look through, make sure that it's a legal entity and make sure what you told us during the interview is actually there.
Okay.
So this might involve us coming to your business as well. The business doesn't have to be perfect. That's why you're joining the accelerator, but at least to just give us an idea.
Yeah, I like that part.
Yes.
The business does not need to be perfect, because a lot of times people feel that, okay, to be able to have access to Growth Africa or to portals like Growth Africa, you need to have a perfect situation. They actually are catalyzing your business, so they even expect that you have problems so that they can help you grow. If you're perfect, then you don't need any growing anymore. So just don't say my business is this petty trading or I mean it's nothing. So I don't think it's my kind of people. They want people like you, because we need people to own businesses and not just jobs. Okay.
Yeah. And not just owning the business. You know, there's so many things that go into it. So I might own a business, maybe I've gone into business with you. By the time I go through the program, I realize that, wait, are not the same, or our plans have changed, because we do take them through a process where you also try to understand yourself as a leader as well as your co-founder. So if we are 3 partners, we might now come to the table and see, we started the business 3 years ago, now we all want to go in a different direction. But how do we part ways? We didn't even have a shareholders agreement to begin with. So that becomes a problem. So as much as he's saying that you might die and leave the business to your children, they might find problems if internally the business is not structured properly. If you don't have a shareholders agreement that clearly stipulates exactly what will happen at what point in the business, so that there are no conflicts coming up later. Yeah. So there's so many things that go into it.
All right. I would like us to take a look at what kind of opportunities can SMEs, take advantage of? Because you mentioned earlier that wherever there are challenges, there are opportunities, and I really liked that.
Yes.
So help us to be able to educate that person who wants to start a business or who has started and has not really gone far.
Yes.
What opportunities are available, to them?
Okay. Right now, I would say that first of all, for Africa, it's an open market.
Okay.
And with the conversation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement going on, it means that whatever business you're doing now, you must look at it from an Africa perspective, not only from your country perspective. So then when you look at it from an African perspective, what do people need? They need logistics, they need digital access, a lot of digital access. There's a lot of digital payments happening now. So maybe a business could come in to provide services for digital payments. They could come in to provide logistic solutions. The agribusiness value chain is still not as streamlined as we would like it to be. So that's also an opportunity there in agribusiness, agri-tech, insure-tech, also like insurance and technology. Yeah, so that's also an opportunity. So the idea is to just think through, how is Africa growing? What are the Africans looking at? How is the African changing? And what is the Africans need? Then you could see an opportunity where you could tap into that. Because if we are saying that Africa is going to be one big market, definitely goods need to move about, and African goods, because there are conditions under the Continental Free Trade Agreement, like origin, rules of origin. So everything has to be processed in Africa. So is it now time to start maybe thinking about manufacturing? If you've been an importer, is there a way that you can now start manufacturing what you're importing for the wider African market, even starting just with ECOWAS and then now going into the wider African market? And there's an opportunity there where entrepreneurs need to push, because a lot of times governments will put policies in place, then entrepreneurs will wait. But putting policies in place is like bringing you the bus. But somebody has to drive that bus.
Exactly.
And it's the entrepreneurs who need to drive it. So they need to get into the bus and, so to speak, they need to go to the Africa Free Trade Agreement Secretariat. There's a secretariat here in Ghana. There's also a national office that is charged with making sure that the Continental Free Trade Agreement comes to life. So they should be able to go into those offices and say, okay, this is the business I do, what are the opportunities for me? And that's also a gap that we find, which is also an opportunity. You might just go into that office at Ministry of Trade and then they'll say, oh, in fact, we've been looking for somebody who does tomatoes. So Lizzie Tomatoes could now find herself in Kenya or the other countries. So
Wow, that's
we need
amazing.
to take charge, basically.
Yeah, we really need to take charge.
We need to take charge.
I was going to talk about maybe education or language barrier. I'm looking at maybe somebody who really doesn't have a formal education, but maybe has got the funds. And a lot of times people don't really like to get involved with all this continental trading, you know, and going to the Ministry of Trade, because like sometimes the jargons, they tell you about this and all that, you know, so it doesn't make it really interesting. What they want is to be able to produce, take the items here, sell it, and go back again to the chain. So with all these jargons that keep coming, is there a way your group helps people to better understand what they are supposed to be doing?
Well, for us, in terms of business structuring, yes, we do.
Okay.
And that's why we had those frameworks that you saw.
Okay.
So, for example, if we ask you about your financial model, I won't ask you to bring me Excel sheets and Excel sheets and Excel sheets. I'll give you a simple framework, which all you need to do is fill in the top line things.
Okay.
You know, your cost of goods, your revenues. So it takes away that complexity and kind of mystery when it comes to business. Yes. And I do believe that especially the government of Ghana has done a lot to demystify businesses for SMEs.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's an opportunity there. And don't forget, there was trade across Africa even before slavery. So how are they doing it? How are they doing it? And they all had different languages.
All the new things that we have now, all the gadgets. They didn't have it then, but it was happening.
It was happening. So what is stopping us now?
True. Well, we'll have to go for another quick commercial break. Now that we started talking about the government, I'd like us to, you know, have a conversation when we return about what governments are actually supposed to be doing or what they are doing to support the SMEs. When we return, do not go away.
Shoulder to cry, run on my pumping, so we try to suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the button gonna do, we go straight to stardom. And I go take you to next level. Oh my baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy next level. Oh back baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I go take you to next level. Oh my baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't go next level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hi, my name is Jackie. If you're an active person like myself, there's nothing much you can do without picking up a few germs from my daily contact with fans, family, and friends. But you can protect yourself by using hand sanitizer. Use Adonko hand sanitizer daily and frequently, as a high percentage of germs are transmitted through hand contact. Adonko hand sanitizer gives you that daily protection from germs, bacteria you can't see. Adonko hand sanitizer. Show love, protect yourself.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
So you don't give me Akwaba.
My guy, there's no Akwaba without Katwaba.
Katwaba there. It's best served when it's chilled. Guys, I love Katwaba. Ask my babe.
Drink responsibly. Not for sales to persons under 18 years of age. Not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
And you're welcome back to the show. I want to go to the comments on Facebook. I'm seeing a comment from Abrobe Eduduya. She says, wow, I'm enjoying this program. Very, very educating. Fatima Ali Mohammed says, SMEs are the future, and with the AFCFTA, they are the ones who have a greater opportunity. Well done, Leah. And I'm seeing a lot of ways from across the world. I'm seeing ways from the United Kingdom, from USA, from Tokyo, Japan, from China, from Bangkok. And I'm also seeing way down here in Africa. Oh, okay, I'm seeing a lot of Nairobi. Kenyans are actually representing so well, watching their sister Leia. And we are really happy to be connecting with you. I see you very, very well. Greetings to all of you in Nairobi. What is Asante?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I also see a lot of ways from across Ghana, from Kumasi. I see also from Swedro. I see from Accra. I see from Tamale. I see from the Volta region. I see from Axim. I see from Takrade. And I also see from Laura. And oh, I see from Lubatota in the Volta region. Wow. Okay, thank you all so much for connecting with us. So before we went on the break, we were going to talk about what role governments actually play when it comes to supporting SMEs. Let's take a look at it. And if you are a government official who is watching right now, well, we are coming to your doorstep. So if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, we need you to, make a U-turn and begin to do it for us. Because we keep saying we don't want to be reliant on the West. We want to be self-reliant. Africa can rise. Africa is rising. Africa can do it all. A lot of issues keep coming up, and people feel that because Africa is not self-reliant, that's how come the West can always come to us and give us rules, and we have no choice but to go with it. Because if we do not go by their rules, they will just withdraw the grants, they will withdraw the loans and all the aids they give to us, and then we find ourselves, lacking. But if we become self-reliant, if government supports the SMEs, we definitely will be on a good road to recovery. So let's take a look at what the government is supposed to be doing or is doing.
Okay. So I would say that for now, according to the World Bank, 90% of businesses are SMEs. And then 50% of employment is brought about by these SMEs.
Okay.
At the same time, 40% of GDPs, especially in our growing economies, are contributed to by SMEs. So definitely, governments, I think, have woken up to these statistics and have seen that SMEs are actually the key driver for creating employment and also for increasing GDP. So if we look at Ghana, we have the Ghana Enterprise Agency that was recently launched with a $145 million grant for businesses. We also saw how the same agency, when it was NBSSI, contributed a lot to businesses when they went through the COVID crisis. So I would say that in terms of governments doing what they need to do, they are on the right track. We can't expect them to be perfect. I mean, even with the Continental Free Trade Agreement, the AFCFTA, it was the fastest signing that we have seen for any union in terms of a free trade agreement or a free trade area. So the political will is there to assist SMEs or to work with SMEs. I think what they can do more is get into dialogue, get some more insights, because sometimes these policies or support mechanisms are made up at a high level. So they need to go down, understand the SMEs, understand the nuances, the market woman, what is she going through? She goes to a microfinance or a micro lender to borrow. So then how do you support this micro lender so that they can support the market woman or the trader? So it's a matter of also going down to the ground and understanding. But I would say that on the government level, they're trying their best. Now the businesses should also be able to come together through their business organizations, small business bodies, and have a collective voice, and maybe also come to the table and say, okay, you've done this for us, you've done that for us, including government bodies like GEPA. They're also supporting a lot of entrepreneurs to export. So you've done this for us, but maybe you need to do a bit more here, or you need to do a bit more there. So there needs to be that dialogue. I feel that the dialogue is missing.
It's not really happening.
The dialogue is missing. So they are setting up structures for the SMEs. The SMEs are also sitting to get the perfect solution. But even if the solution is not perfect, how do we now come to meet at a middle point where everybody can be happy, especially when it comes to issues like taxes, which SMEs really cry about. Yeah, so I feel more dialogue, more insights, and government just being open to listening to SMEs, and SMEs being bold enough to also bring their points across to government, and making sure that whatever is in place, you are using it. Whatever instruments have been put in place, maximize them as you continue to have dialogue with government to try and get more. Yes.
Wow, amazing. Wow, interestingly, I just look at the timepiece and I see that we've got a very little time remaining, just like some 5 minutes, but I would like us to look at what do you think that the future looks like for the SMEs? I mean, let's end with that, because I mentioned the fact that government needs to be playing a role, and even our international development partners are also doing what they can do. But that is where we have a challenge. A lot of times when they bring it, we believe that nothing is for free. So they've helped us on this hand, and the other side, well, they will still want to collect back something from us. So I didn't want to delve in so much there, because I know that Africans will say, hey, don't even go there. We want our governments to work. Let's not look at the international people who usually help us. Okay. Yeah, we know that they always help, and thank you so much for all the help you've been giving. But let's take a look at what the future looks like for the SMEs.
It's actually interesting you mentioned the international funders, because at GrowthAfrica we also do have a strong support system from development partners who would like us to see businesses growing, and our bottom line is basically to make sure the businesses increase their revenues and also they increase employment opportunities, so that we retain our brain power within Africa.
Okay.
So in terms of the future for SMEs, definitely I see a lot of development partners still coming in, funding a lot of SME support and SME, let's say, interventions for growth. At the same time, I see governments being more proactive in terms of making sure that we're able to trade, because what happened with COVID, we are not even able to bring products from outside. So we must have a focus on made in Ghana, made in Africa products, and also push it across Africa. And I always feel that, you know, we will achieve economic freedom if we grow our businesses and we're able to trade amongst each other. At the same time, it will promote more unity, because if I am exporting to Cote d'Ivoire, it's in my interest that Cote d'Ivoire does not go into war. If I'm exporting to Uganda, it's in my interest that Uganda does not go into war. So business could also be that tool that creates peace for us in Africa. So we could achieve economic freedom, and we could also achieve peace through business, trade, and investment. And that's the future I see for Africa.
Amazing. I also see the future where I'm going to be owning chains of businesses. Do you believe that? Say amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Leah, for keeping us company and for taking us through, you know, and making us understand catalyzing businesses. And we definitely will be looking out for you. We just go online and we just type in Growth Africa, and then we'll see a lot of information around you. So for those of you who have further questions, please reach out to her. When you go on Facebook, just type in Leah Nduati, and then she will just pop up. A very beautiful yellow background. So don't change the background, okay? So that when they come, they know that, okay, yeah, that's her.
I won't change it.
All right, thank you so much. So please, the repeat broadcast of this show is going to be coming your way on Saturday at 12 noon. If you couldn't watch everything, no problem. So watch on Saturday, okay? We also have our Facebook, so you could always go back to it and watch it. And it's uploaded on YouTube 24 hours after. So tomorrow, please check it out on YouTube as well. And I want to say a very big thank you to all my sponsors once again. I was here. I'm flicking my hair.
You should join GrowthAfrica.
Oh, yes, I will. She said you should, you know, connect with, you know, Growth Africa. Chanashito, please connect. Lizzie's Tomato Mix, please connect, because we discussed it here and we need you to connect, okay? All right, good. And Afariwa Styles, please, the business is going to be expanding. It's going to be expanding, especially with your association with this program. So we want you also to connect with Growth Africa. So until we meet again, same time next week, do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.
To be a consumer